Russian escalation. In a major policy reversal for Joe Biden, the U.S. and its allies are now planning to provide Ukraine with F-16 fighter jets. This comes as Russia continues to escalate the war in Eastern Europe, taking back territory in the Donbass region from the Ukrainian army, all ahead of Ukraine's counteroffensive in the region. Joining us now to discuss is retired Brigadier General and Newsmax contributor Blaine Holt, along with U.S. Army veteran and president at the London Center for Policy Research, Tony Shaffer. Welcome to you both. General Holt, Biden, he's drawn a red line in the past and said that he would not send F-16 fighter jets. What's changed? Because that really does seem like a major shift.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of strategy in play here. It's good to be with you, Lydia, and Tony, of course. But what we're seeing is right now the Russians are really pushing hard. They've just taken Bakhmut. I know the Ukrainians are pushing back on that idea, but that's what's happened. So the F-16s, they're sending an overture of support to Ukraine. Will those F-16s make a difference? Now? No, they won't. There's a lead time of 9 to 18 months to have those things operational. And so is this a strategy to try to get people to the bargaining table? Is this a strategy to try to put the calculus different in Russia? That's what I kind of think it is. But right now, I'm not so sure that there's going to be a war when those F-16s are available.
Wow. President Zelensky, he attended the G7 summit in Japan, Tony Shaffer, meeting with world leaders and he thanked the United States and NATO allies for the decision to supply Ukraine with F-16. He's been asking for them for quite some time.
He has.
Tony, what do you think about all of this?
Well, Lydia, as the general said, I think there's a great deal of gamesmanship at play here. These are effective weapons in that they are part of a larger military construct that you would use in what we call the air-land battle. It takes time to run it up. It takes time to train, to engage and incorporate those into a larger military force. And Zelensky, look, as Blaine and I spoke about this earlier, Blaine said to me, Zelensky's been relentless in his messaging on this, and he's been very effective. But to what end? This is not going to make any difference in Bakhmut. It's not going to make any difference within the next 3 critical months of the war. So, again, I am skeptical that Biden and his advisors have any idea what they're doing regarding how to actually make effective choices to help the Ukrainians, if that's what the policy really is.
And General, the Russian Wagner group, they're now claiming they have control of Bakhmut. What does this mean especially for Ukraine's counteroffensive?
Right. So, we've been transmitting, the Ukrainians have been transmitting the counteroffensive now for a couple of months, and Russia's had time to get ready and adjust to that. Wagner, no matter what circus we see out of Prigozhin with the communications back and forth, they have moved on and they have taken most, if not all, of Bakhmut at this time. But what we have to do now is stop looking at what's happened and start looking at what's coming ahead. Will the Russian army now gather up its forces and then make a punch-through point at Bakhmut and aim straight at Kiev? Do the Ukrainians have the defensive logistics they need, let alone the offensive logistics they need to defend themselves? If you want to go on offense, you're going to burn up 3 times the amount of logistics to go on the offensive. We're worried about defensive logistics right now. And so what we have to do is leaders are going to have to sit down and understand what it is they're going to try to achieve here. And if they're going to be in full support where the rhetoric is, that remains to be seen. But right now, the Ukrainians are on the back foot, I'm sorry to say.
Tony Shaffer, I don't mean to throw you a curveball, but I just saw this on my Twitter feed. Speaker McCarthy saying the White House moved backwards regarding the debt ceiling, adding that he believes, quote, the socialist wing of the Democrat Party appears to be in control of negotiations with President Biden in Japan. Tony Shaffer, that is some strong rhetoric there by the speaker. To hear something like that, what goes through your mind?
Well, look, President Trump rightfully attached our economic and success regarding debt and taxes and budget to the national security issue. And this is a national security issue as far as I'm concerned. And I think Speaker McCarthy's got it right. We have to do things to trim back on our spending, to include military. We have the most expensive military in the world. We need an effective military, not an expensive military. So in my view, everything should be on the table. And what Biden is doing is he's playing this old Potomac two-step, saying a few things to get him to the table and then pulling away anything he's offering. So I'm sorry, I'm on Speaker McCarthy's side on this. I think he's doing the right thing.
Absolutely. Tony Shaffer, General Holt, thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thank you, Lydia.
Have a great night.